Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Smackdown Live Recap here on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'm your host, John Rocha, and I am excited to welcome back to the program this week because Ryan is still sunning his ass down there in Mexico. My man, the urban gladiator himself, Jay Washington, thank you so much for coming back.
Man, thank you for having me back. I'm happy I can make it, even though under the circumstances I wish I couldn't have made it.
Right, of
you
course.
know why.
Professionally.
Yes. Professionally.
Yes.
But no, I'm happy to be back. Thank you for the fans that showed a lot of love during the Raw recap.
Absolutely,
and everything.
Man,
it was amazing. And it's just been great. It's always great talking wrestling with you, bouncing stuff back and forth. And so we get to talk about a show that's better at 2 hours than the other one is at 3.
Oh, that's a fair point.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. And we've been saying that on the show for quite some time. SmackDown Live is the one to watch. I'm saying to Jay, off camera, for me, it's SmackDown Live, NXT, then Raw, in terms of enjoyment overall, consistently when I watch the show.
And I think NXT is always going to be that one because everybody on that roster has a point to prove.
Yep.
So they're going to bust
they're
hungry. They're going to bust their behinds night in, night out.
Yeah.
There isn't I'll phone it in. They never will.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about NXT.
I agree with that. Well, I mean, we start out with SmackDown Live. It is still in London, England, there in the UK. It starts out with Roman Reigns coming out, the Roman Empire in the British Empire there, having his doing his promo, brings out Miz, because of course that was the reverse of Raw from the night before. Miz talks about destroying Shane all over the world, and Shane comes out, and Elias comes out with him. They do kind of a counter promo to what Reigns and Miz were doing. Then Shane brings out Daniel Bryan and Rowan, and the 4-on-2 beating ensues. Then the Usos come out because that wild card thing is still in play. The Usos come out. Then they help Reigns win. So the family is back together here. Roman Reigns and the Usos.
Did you know
we kind of go to break?
They called them the Bloodline.
The Bloodline,
because that's what they are, of the Bloodline.
I like that.
I'm wondering, is this a foreshadow into what Roman's next stable will be?
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, because it works, the three of them together.
Yeah.
But I was paying attention to it. It was referenced several times throughout the program. And I was like,
I like that.
Okay, I can see where this is going, but I don't have a problem with it. So
it's The Rock. It's actually the Maivia, the grandfather there.
So if you look
Rocky
at that actual
Johnson.
Samoan dynasty bloodline, it's ridiculous. The Rock is in it through blood brothers, not the biological brothers. And the Usos, all of Rikishi's kids. Shout out to Rikishi. If you've never had a chance to talk to that man has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
Black Pearl, you have the Tongan Kid, all these people in that bloodline. So I can understand it. And it's a good thing instead of because Samoan dynasty is being used.
Right.
You call them the bloodline.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense to me. Did you enjoy this opening promo, Jay, as it came out and went down on a 4-on-2 beating, and then, as you said, the bloodline comes in here and gets established?
Did I enjoy it? I mean, I guess it was predictable.
Okay.
Given the events of what happened last night.
Yeah.
I mean, the night before, on Raw. You knew this was going to set up one way or another. My only concern was, will this be the main event to close the evening? You know, that was my biggest concern because I'm like, your main event should be involving your WWE champion, no matter what. Exactly. And granted, we know what we got, but I was like, oh God, they're going to set this up for a main event.
Right.
But it only turned out to be a main event match.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference, you know what I'm saying? And the way it played out, cool. And to find out what was happening backstage, like, oh, Shane's going to compete on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shane throwing himself in the mix. You know, some people have liked it, some people haven't.
Well, we talked about that.
But he's got to play a part till, I guess, Saudi Arabia or beyond.
Well, we talked about that on the Raw recap, how, you know, he's in the fold now. And they did mention, Todd Phillips mentioned this was the first time Shane had performed in London in over 10 years. So I guess it was a treat for the London crowd as well to show appreciation. But also it's, why give away all of Shane?
Yeah.
I get it. You want the London crowd to see him live.
Yeah.
Because that is something to see Shane McMahon still being able to go, even as strong in his of opinion I have on that. But save that for Money in the Bank because that's where you're going to get all of your good Shane.
Yeah. Yeah. It sets up a handicap match coming on later on in the show. We'll get to that as we go around to the rundown. Randy Orton comes out here, gives his promo for Men in the Bank. Then Zelina and Andrade come out and give their promo. Then Ali comes out. Then Balor. This becomes a tag team match with Ali and Balor versus Andrade and Randy Orton.
It was a
it's a four-way match. Fatal four-way match. The ladder gets involved. A couple of ladders get involved.
Which is great because I didn't know. I forgot that fatal four-way and triple threats have no disqualification.
Right.
So when you mention that, it's like, yeah, bring the ladders in.
It kind of scares me a little bit to do a pre-ladder match before a main ladder match. That's kind of you're risking injury to one of your competitors.
But that's why you limit the spots.
Yeah.
You limit them. And even the bumps you take on the ladder are like, somebody has to say, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I won't do too much immediately following that in the spot. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that bump, I'll roll to the side, take a rest for a minute, then we'll go whatever next is in the spot.
Yeah.
It worked out. It was a very well put together match.
Oh, yeah. I had a great time watching this one.
Very well put together. And
a lot of fantastic moves.
The closing sequence of everything, the finishing sequence was so beautiful and it was well executed. Everybody was in the perfect position where they needed to be for the moments. And the fact that Andrade went over shocked me a lot. And it does, we talked about this on the Raw recap again, this is an open field for this Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it is.
It's a legit open field. You don't know who has the advantage except for when you saw what happened after the match.
Right. Ricochet comes out after Andrade climbs the ladder to grab the case. Ricochet comes out, pushes Andrade off the ladder, takes the case himself, slides out. And I thought of you immediately because of what you said yesterday. When they throw Becky Lynch through a table, it means she's keeping the belts. Now, if Ricochet pushes Andrade off and takes the case, does that mean Andrade is getting the case?
It could be that push we've been waiting for Andrade.
Yeah.
We've been told so long that he was going to move on to bigger and better things. And every time we thought that, he falls back. You know, now again, Ricochet is going to be that high flyer. And you didn't mention the way he came in.
Yeah.
The running down the ring, the jump up the springboard to the ladder. Yeah. Which is a great spot. You know, anybody that's a high flyer is going to do that spot. And so to see that on SmackDown gave a good preview. Now, does that mean Andrade will not have the briefcase? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this was a great, and this was, you look at the Raw side of things. Yeah, that was the interesting guys there. But the ladder matches, I always love the more high flyers in the ladder matches are the ones that can roll. Like Randy is not known for jumping off top of us, but Randy can roll with the high flying stuff.
Absolutely.
And I love that. So I like Randy being involved in this. The other side has, a McIntyre and has these bigger dudes and Corbin and what have you. So you're just like, okay, but it's not going to be as, I don't know if it was be as much fun as high flying. Because I tell you, with Ricochet, that NXT 6-man ladder match
for the North American
title is still one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in the last 10 years. And to see him back in a ladder match, it excites me.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of high flyers in this Money in the Bank match. You have Ricochet, you have Balor, you have Andrade,
and Ali.
You have Ali.
Yeah.
And knowing Ali
and Sami Zayn works.
Sami Zayn. Yeah. Having been in the ring with Ali for over years, nonstop, he always high flies. And so, but it's a part of his arsenal, but it works.
Yeah.
It isn't just high flying to high fly. And he can work around with the best. Orton is keeping up with all of them.
Yeah.
So you're going to mix all these different personalities, these different characters, these different styles together, which makes for a great match in itself.
Absolutely.
It's just the outcome. Again, this is a toss-up. This is just one of those, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out, that's for sure. Carmella does her promo next for the Men in the Bank, Money in the Bank rather match, and says that having won it twice, she wants to win it a third time. Kofi and Xavier Woods, we see them backstage having the conversation. Kofi says he wants to go it alone. Xavier's getting hurt when he comes up to try to help because, it's like Big E's not there as well as a deterrent, so he wants to kind of handle his own. This is, Ryan has been convinced that they're trying to slowly move them into singles situations or have one of them turn bad on the others, or two of them turn bad. Maybe they turn bad on Kofi at the same time, or Kofi turns on them. It's just, there's a lot dancing around right now with them. What did you think this kind of furthered the groundwork of laying the groundwork?
It has laid the groundwork that eventually one of them will turn on Kofi. I would rather it be Xavier for the fact that he can hold his own on the mic a little bit better
than Big E.
Yeah, just a little bit, not that much. I'm not never taking anything away from the big man. That man can go.
Yes, he can.
But it's obvious if it's Big E.
Right, because he's played a villain before.
He's played the villain.
He's been away.
Right,
they tried to replace him with Kevin Owens.
So it's obvious if it's Big E.
Right.
But with Xavier Woods taking his beating consistently, it sets that up. And I don't want that to be the reason that Kofi Kingston loses his title, which I've been telling people for a couple of weeks on the Wrestling Compadres. I'm afraid that the reason they gave Kofi that match versus AJ and that match versus Daniel Bryan was to say he defended the title successfully twice.
Right.
Just to have him drop at Money in the Bank. And I do not want to see that because I think that'll be saying, hey, we did it, we gave it to him, blah, 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 now we can be done with it. No, I think you should let him run for a couple more months. Yeah. Let him have a legit run with this title. But I say that to say I don't want Xavier Woods to be the catalyst as to why he drops the title at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want that either. I think he should have the title for a while. But Vince, you never know with Vince. His decision to take it off Sasha and Bayley has completely destroyed the women's tag team titles.
Has it though?
It has for me.
Why?
Because it's not on television. Your champions keep losing every time they fight, and you're burying no one thinks about the women's tag team title anymore. When you think about Sasha Banks and Bayley having the title, there was prestige to it. They were willing to fight on multiple federations. They went down to NXT and fought. They went down to Smackdown, Raw. They were willing to go everywhere. The Iconics come on one at a time, get beat, recede, go sit behind a mic and call a match, but they don't really it's nothing.
The Iconics, whether we like it or not, are old school heels. Those are the old school heel type champions. They might lose individually, they'll win, they'll sneak a win out. They'll always talk their jazz. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But never forget, Nia Jax said this in a promo right before she got hurt. You drop title, Sasha, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. There's no lie there.
Well, right.
Well,
that's what Vince does because he makes her drop titles.
Yeah, but also same time, personal reasons backstage. Won't get into all that. But the Iconics are the only true tag team up until recently. The Iconics are the true women's tag team. Think about it. What other team?
No, I get your point. Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much, and I understand people in the comments will be like, "But the Iconics are horrible." Yeah, as far as in ring wrestling, when it comes to the other women, yes. But their character being annoying, being just like, oh my God, would you drop these titles already?
Yeah.
You stay into that like, oh my God, are they gonna drop this week? Are they gonna drop this week? Are they gonna drop at the pay-per-view? And I know we want those titles, like Sasha and Bayley said, defended on Raw, defended on SmackDown, defended on NXT. We want that. And the Iconics aren't gonna do that. But the problem is we have to wait until we fully built up Kairi, Sane, and Asuka.
Well, that's why I think it was stupid to take it off Sasha and Bayley. I thought it was dumb because...
Well, who would you have put it on?
I would have left them with the titles.
You would let them keep running with it?
Fuck yes. Because they deserved it. They had fought so hard for it.
I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm not saying they don't deserve it.
I know you're not saying that. I'm saying Vince's decision was dumb because they were the ones who had carried the flag for it for a year before they even got a chance to fight for it. They brought attention to it. They made a big deal out of it. They wanted to see it. They wanted to have it. It became a fan desire because of what they had said. And other women, of course, had come along and had their matches. Yeah. There was this desire to see a women's tag team champions belts. Then it was announced. Then they won it initially against all odds, and they walked around with a defender in multiple places. They should have kept it for 6 months. Then, if you want to drop it to the Iconics for a month or two, great. That's fine, because at least you've established
why they dropped
the belts.
It to the Iconics, right? You know the exact reason why?
I don't. But ladies and gentlemen,
I'll tell you the exact reason why they dropped it to the Iconics at WrestleMania. Because all of a sudden, at the last minute, Vince McMahon was informed that the buy rate in Australia had gone through the roof and superseded every other location.
Get out of here.
Yes. And so at that very last moment, right when I think before they come out of Gorilla to go to the ring or in the match, Vince made the call, put the Iconics over.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was right before they went out.
It was right before they went out.
Sasha and Bayley were.
That's why.
Pissed.
Okay, that's why. Yeah. Vince found out. That's when they found out. Excuse me. Vince heard. They was told that the numbers in Australia are through. And remember, they do this big super show there.
Yeah.
And so I understand what the fans of us who want to see this. I'm 100% with you. But Vince McMahon's business brain went, I'm going back to Australia soon.
Yeah, but that's not a smart business brain, because look, the buy rate was still high
regardless
while they were champions.
No.
So what's the difference?
I get it, but that's Vince McMahon's brain.
Yeah.
You know, these are some of the small insights we'll have into the mind of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. But that's why they're the champions. Now, they don't have a match at Money in the Bank.
What have I been saying?
I get this. But at the same time, the Intercontinental Champion doesn't have a match.
You know why they don't have a match? Because they don't want them to get even more ridicule from the fans on message boards. And even more, because why not have a match? You're burying the belts. You're burying the belts.
Again, that same logic can be said that the and I'm not taking away from Finn Balor, ladies and gentlemen, at all. The Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, but he's in the pay-per-view.
No. I would rather see the Intercontinental title be defended, as opposed to see the champion in the match. If you're going to take, you either took the title off him or you gave him another match, that is fine.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
Have that in there as well. I'm completely with you. The Iconics eventually will lose it.
Yeah.
But we have to build, the only team we're going to build up to it are Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yeah, well.
Because there's no other team we're looking at anymore.
Mandy and Sonya is certainly a possibility. And we'll talk about
you
that.
You can believe that if you want to.
We can talk about that in just a little bit. Well, speaking of the ladies, Charlotte comes out. She does a promo against Becky Lynch. Of course, standard stuff. Nothing new here, but introduces a video talking about the history of their relationship and the back and forth. And of course, she takes this angle for her that, you know, she's been doing it for way longer than Becky has. She's been the face of the company. But we could have a really massive debate about who is more over in their top spot right now.
Oh, there's no debate. It's Becky Lynch.
I feel like Becky is more over than Charlotte ever was.
At this point, at this moment, yes.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get.
At this moment,
it's
yes.
a good debate to have. Was Charlotte ever as big as Becky is right now?
No.
And I don't think so.
No.
I don't think Charlotte was outselling the male counterparts on the other side.
Charlotte wasn't taking the entire wrestling world by storm.
Right.
Or better yet, the entire world. No matter how I will give all credit to Ashley as a great performer. But
of course,
no matter what, her persona is great in the ring. There is something about what Becky has done that has captivated the world. And that video package was great with it. Also, I have another question. Are you going to be Charlotte or Charlotte Flair? Because have you noticed they keep flip-flopping that?
Oh, no, I didn't think about it.
One moment she's Charlotte, the next moment it's a subtle thing that happens.
Does the Titantron change?
Yeah.
Like the name changes?
Yes, it does. Sometimes you'll see Charlotte, sometimes you'll see Charlotte Flair.
Wow.
It is really, that's just something for me. I'm like, I don't know what's the purpose behind that. But the build up to this match is great.
Yeah.
Because now we've had this match before. We've had this numerous times. But now the belt is on the other end.
Right.
So that's what makes this a little bit more interesting.
I thought it was, and then Lacey Evans did her promo. I thought Lacey Evans' promo was really good.
But again, she didn't have to be in the public.
She did. She sat there in the back.
It was by herself.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
It was by herself.
We're going to protect her and let her say her stuff. I loved her saying, saying that she doesn't, people maybe forgot about her because they're too busy watching reruns, which is essentially saying the Becky Charlotte thing has been happening so often, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a brilliant thing for her to say. I like how she's doing. Except for last week where I felt like she was a little bit out of her element, I've liked just about everything Lacey has done since they actually let her wrestle and talk on the mic and do promos with Becky. It's been a good rivalry.
Well, first off,
or at least beginning rivalry.
Let's go to the reruns issue. In wrestling, when you're stuck in a program for a long time with somebody, it's called you're married to them. So I've been married to Michael Elgin. Okay. I've been married to Sami Callihan. I was married to Michael Elgin across 3 companies for a while. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you have to take that away for a while to give freshness to it.
Yeah.
Lacey Evans is a fresh voice, but the only problem is it's on a whole nother show.
Right.
It's on a whole other show. Because then if you bounce back to SmackDown, let's say Charlotte loses. Or Becky loses.
Yeah.
Who becomes her number one contender if the Money in the Bank goes to Raw?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Look at that lineup of women.
Yeah, there's nobody really.
There's nobody a clear, concise.
Everyone's focused on tag teams.
There's no clear, concise number one women's contender.
Maybe Ember Moon. Maybe.
And that's only if they really decide to push her, which we thought they were going to do on Raw.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's no concise number one contender for the women.
Yeah.
Whereas on Raw, you actually can say there is some legitimacy in the argument where you can literally put a Naomi in that picture.
Or Alexa, if she
an
doesn't
Alexa
win
Bliss.
Yeah.
You can throw a Dana Brooke if she shows out at this Money in the Bank.
Well, I guess Bayley on SmackDown could possibly make the
You know
room.
what? I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about Bayley.
Yeah, Bayley. Well,
and that's
my point. Leave the belts on him.
But here's the thing about that: is that does she need a belt to stay relevant, or does she need to evolve her gimmick?
Well, you just said you forgot about Bayley, so do you answer? I think you answered your own question.
Does she need belts to stay relevant or evolve her gimmick?
I don't know how much more she can evolve her gimmick.
What does she evolve? The hugger thing, the whole way.
All that needs to go.
That's what I'm talking about. Change all. That's what I'm about. Evolve the gimmick.
She can't turn into Becky.
No.
So because that's thought's taken. But getting rid of those, all that kind of stuff.
I think she had the moment. There was a moment. Sorry to cut you off. No. There was a moment she could have been what Becky has become. When they were teasing this whole heel turn thing with her and Sasha.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen what would happen with Bayley had she been in that position.
I think there's a more vicious Bayley, and we've seen it come out at times during matches. Yeah. And I'd like her to embrace that a little bit more. A dark Bailey would be fantastic. A darker Bailey, rather.
The gear looks like it's dark.
Yeah, it's getting darker.
It's getting darker.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but if you do her as a brooding heel, granted, Becky's not a heel. Becky's what you call, Becky's an Austin. Becky's a tweener.
Right.
Does that solidify her as a potential contender again? We know what she's held the title. We know what she can do in the ring. But again, when you talk about the WWE, it's two components. It's in-ring ability and character.
Yeah, and merch.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about third. Yeah, merchandise sales.
Amongst our weaponry. All right, Alistair Black does his promo. Have you been liking these promos at all? Or, like, put him in the ring, damn it.
The worst thing that happened to Aleister Black was getting called up and split from Ricochet.
Yeah.
Because it was so dope, the two of them together. But they wanted to put Alistair. They keep married couples together.
Yeah.
So I respect that. Now, if this means Alistair becomes a contender for the IC title, because I don't see him going for the WWE title right away.
Right.
But if you're waiting to after Money in the Bank to put him in the IC program with Finn Balor, fine. Let this build up that way.
Yeah.
But do not keep giving me Aleister Black, who is a proven talent in the ring, a proven talent on this mic week in and week out, and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the SmackDown debut of Aleister Black. Let Aleister Black go.
Yeah, I agree. He was great establishing himself with Ricochet on the main roster with these tag team matches. That's what you're doing. You're giving them time on TV to get over with the fans, both on television who maybe didn't watch NXT and the fans in the arena who maybe didn't watch NXT. So to now sideline him essentially to do these promos, I think is a mistake.
Which to me is surprising he wasn't in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
You know, if I were a smart man, if I were a smart man and creative, I would have just said, you know what? It seems like it's a cluster. Let's go for it. Let's make it 10 men.
Yeah.
You could have had, I know Braun is injured. I know this. But you could have added Sami Zayn on Raw to make that 5 on that side.
Yeah, true.
And add Aleister Black on SmackDown.
Sure.
You could have pulled together some great sequences.
They've got people they can use.
They've
It's
got
certainly
it.
people that they can use.
Aleister Black is a guy they brought up, and I hope he will get used.
Yeah.
He will not be EC3.
Right. Fair. Yeah, I hope not. Jesus Christ. All right, let's do this. Shane McMahon here. He sets up the 4-on-3 match, the handicap match. Shane, Elias, Bryan, and Rowan taking on the Usos and Reigns. This was a good match. I thought it was a good back and forth. A lot of fun to watch. Shane gets the victory and takes this thing. Did you enjoy it?
I definitely did. I just was mad Shane had to give the London crowd something. Gave him the coast to coast.
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
barely.
Did you not pay attention to that?
Uso was like, do I need to move over a little more?
And I'm glad they cut the camera at the last second because it looked like he was. That's the one thing I think as Shane gets older, he can't clear that ring.
He can't do it anymore.
And he tries to push off the ropes to help make it, but it's a little bit more difficult. And that's
barely making it.
Barely.
In the past, he go right through it.
Barely.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to video production and those in the truck who like keep your eyes on this. And if it looks like he's shut, be ready to cut the camera real quick.
Camera 3, go.
Hit it real quick.
Yeah.
And so, but it was a great match overall.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
I'm actually surprised at Rowan now. This him being with Daniel Bryan has been a resurgence for him. And it's been something I think we've all been wanting to see.
Yeah.
You know, you thought you were going to get that when he was the Bludgeon Brothers.
Right, with Harper.
With Harper. Yeah. But it's something about being with Daniel Bryan and being put in these positions where he's the biggest guy and now he has to show what he can do.
Yeah, Daniel, in basketball, Daniel is one of the best point guards ever. He sets everybody he's up with a program with to be the best. Kaz is the only one that I've ever seen not be able to make it work with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, because he should have never got called up.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone makes it work with Daniel Bryan, and he makes it work with them. He's great at that.
I don't know if you knew this, but he is the reason that him and Ali had the program together. He's the reason.
Ryan said that, yeah.
He saw it. And so that, like you said, it definitely goes to show the integrity of Daniel and the knowing, hey, I can work with this guy and I can make something happen with it.
Daniel's one of those guys that got there and remembered what he had to do to get there.
Yes.
And isn't jealous of people coming up behind him
No.
who also want to get there. He wants to help them because he knows he'll get his chance as well.
We were at King of Trios in Chicago and Philly back in like 2008, 2009. And I remember him being in the back. When he says he's a vegan, he's a vegan. The Soul Touch, we went and got Chinese food. And we was like, dang, Bryan, you want an egg roll or something? He's like, no, I got this apple. He's eating an apple and reading Twilight.
Wow.
But he's always so focused. When he goes in his house, before he got married, you had to take your shoes off, and there was always wrestling on the TV.
Wow.
There was always wrestling on the television. So he was always focused on that. And he knows that when it comes to these guys who get a chance to be there, he's like, I'm put in a position where I can basically put you over.
Yeah.
And if I know you can do it, I'm going to do it. And taking Rowan and seeing a big guy who is more than just a big body.
Yeah.
And allowing him to work with that. The Usos, Roman, they know how to do that already. The Miz is, when he comes in, he knows how to do that.
Yep.
Elias is learning that. Elias is learning to go from the role player to, he's playing the role, but he knows how to help at the same time. While I'm building myself up, I'll build you up.
Yeah.
He does that. And Erick Rowan in this match showed, okay, I'm gonna show you why I belong here. I didn't just get handed the titles with Bryan because of who he is, and not just because we needed somebody to fill a spot. I'm gonna make sure I work just as hard as he does.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we get Ember Moon and Bayley doing their promos. We mentioned Bayley and both of Ember Moon earlier, and then for the Money in the Bank match, we'll see how they do in that. We lead to Kairi Sane and Asuka coming out with Paige, who calls them the Kabuki Warriors now. I don't know about that. And then Mandy and Sonya come out. Mandy doing nice work on the mic. I think Mandy's really come along on the mic. I enjoy her promos now. Very much so. Her back and forth. The Iconics are at ringside, do the ugly faces when they get disrespected. They just go, what?
Did you ever like the Beautiful People?
I love the Beautiful People. The Beautiful People was great. Okay. Angelique. Who's a little?
Angelina Sky and
Velvet Sky.
Velvet Sky and I can't remember her name. Yeah, but the Beautiful People.
And then one of them, and Lacey Von Erich. She was part of them as well. I loved the Beautiful People. I wish the Beautiful People had come over to any of the WWE programs because they were fantastic as a female faction. Velvet Sky's still doing it.
Yeah, and still going well.
Yeah.
And it's not slowing, but that's when you're...
Bubba Ray. Shout out, dog. Shout out, dog. Shout out, dog.
Yo, like Bubba, you.
Talk about out-kicking your coverage. So we get this match. No, Bubba will probably kill me when he sees me, but if he ever...
I was trying to Google Beautiful People to remember what, because with my bracelet.
For those of you who don't know, the Beautiful People was in TNA. They were and Impact. They were fantastic female faction that was great from top to bottom. Gave great matches, good storylines. Turned on each other. Turned on one of them to kick.
Angelina Love.
Right. But who's the small one? I always forget the small one.
Velvet Sky, Angelina Love, and Mandy Leon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. And they all did that stuff. But anyway, let's get back to this match here with Mandy and Sonya. This ends up turning out a victory for Kairi, Sane, and Asuka because Mandy gets a little cocky and wants to jump in and get the pin. And she gets it reversed on her, and they lose. The Iconics laugh at them, and we now have a setup of a little bit of a triple threat possibly down the road.
Yeah, but we do, but at the same time, we have the teaser of the breakup, the official breakup between
of Sonya and Mandy. Yeah, certainly.
Because I feel like that's coming. It's been a long time coming. Once they dissolved Absolution, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, they're the Sasha Banks and Bayley light. Right? They're kind of like the lower version of that.
Because remember, even during the promo, Mandy was like, when I win Miss Money in the Bank, and don't worry, Sonya, we'll go for the tag titles.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, it sounds cocky, but brushing off like, let me do this first.
Right.
And, the fact that Sonya stepped to the side to let Mandy have the opportunity for it, I think that the whole Kabuki Warriors thing, I think we need a better name.
Yes, we do.
I think we need a better name. Look, social media, just like you went to Twitter and you expressed your disinterest in the Viking experience, please do the same thing about Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, Kabuki Warriors should not be happening.
I feel actually sorry for Kairi, Sane, and Asuka. They are two great women workers individually.
This match was great.
The match is great.
They were fun.
But I don't know how much it works with Paige with them.
Yeah, I don't want Paige with them.
I don't want Paige with them.
And I love Paige. I just don't think she works bringing them out. I get that they're setting up those two going at it, former Absolution versus her current team, but I don't think Paige needs to be the focus here.
It was just a reason to say,
especially if she's not going to do a promo walking them out.
It was just to say we need something to do with Paige.
Yeah.
And the way Paige did, the way they did it this week was Paige is already in the ring with them.
Yes.
And it's I don't know. It's trying to catch that lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's trying to catch that lightning in the bottle again, where you put two wrestlers together and you hope for the best. Now, don't get me wrong. You have two great workers, like I said, in Kairi and Asuka.
Yeah.
But Asuka shined when she was in singles.
Yeah.
She can shine still as a tag. Kairi has to come more into her own. The Pirate Princess thing, how long does that last on the main roster?
Right.
You know, Asuka's gimmick is one thing, and I understand Kairi has her own gimmick. But first of all, the blending of the two musics is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just, I don't want them to become an afterthought. Like, I don't want them to be built up as this dominant team.
Yeah.
And then the Iconics beat them, which I will understand. It's a classic heel move if they do,
right?
Which I'm fine with. But at the same time, I feel like they should be that's a team right now that has the tools to run through the women's division until Nia Jax and Tamina come back.
Right. Well, yeah.
As much as we feel about Tamina, they are the most dominant. There is nobody else as dominant, potentially, and lethal with strikes and kicks than Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out down the road here. Next, we have Lars doing. Why is Lars doing interviews? Lars should not be doing interviews because Lars just needs to destroy everything and then eventually get a match and do whatever. He should not be doing interviews.
And they'll try
to turn him into a regular character
because they're trying to justify it as saying he said nothing.
Yeah.
Don't have him there.
Don't have him there.
Don't have him there.
Yeah, there's no logic to me. In my opinion, there's no logic.
There's no logic at all. You're absolutely right, bro.
What do you think?
There's no logic. You have Lars. We never get a chance to talk to Lars Sullivan. We don't even have a camera in his face. We don't have him standing there.
Yeah.
Anytime it looks like you about to come close to talk to him, he snaps out of something. Let that, if he's going to be the monster of SmackDown, just like you have Braun be the monster of Raw, let him be a monster, not just, when he comes to the ring. Stop trying to get words from him.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is you'll kill that character once he starts talking.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you need.
Yeah, Lars does better talking less and just destroying everything in the world.
And I understand. I keep saying it. The WWE is two things, character and in-ring work.
Right.
But this person is built up as a monster. This is a dude we don't need to hear talk. Never forget the first time we heard Brock Lesnar talk on his own.
Yeah, right.
Never forget that. And everybody was like, oh my God, where's Paul Heyman? You don't give him a mouthpiece.
In case of emergency, break glass and get Paul Heyman out of here.
Paul! But don't give him a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Let him do what he does.
Exactly.
Because the more he just comes in, dominates, has no reason, his only reasoning is destruction.
Yeah.
It works. Now, should he still be on the roster? Hell no. Because those are the personal tweets. You not seen the tweets and everything he's posted
recently?
Not super recent.
Okay,
but some stuff has resurfaced, and some people was like, "Oh, that's how you really feel about minorities and a bunch of other people."
Oh no.
Oh yeah, but nonetheless.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. But you look at Lars Sullivan, you're like, I can't believe it.
Okay,
but. Same time, if he's on the roster, leave him as a monster, a silent monster. I think we need to stop trying to have the monsters talk.
Yeah.
Again, I understand his character, but the monsters don't need to talk.
Yep, exactly.
I'm getting tired of hearing Braun say, get these hands. I think we burned it out.
Yeah, we hit that wall with that, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Don't even try to get an interview with Lars.
Yeah.
Let Lars be who Lars is going to be.
Exactly. And we end the show here with Kofi and KO going at it. Kofi comes out with the pancakes, kind of jumps the gun with KO and takes over KO's show and says he's going to have KO as a guest on his own show, which is hilarious. Then KO is in the back talking his stuff. Comes out, they talk some more, and then Kofi rushes him out on the ramp. They go at it, and out of nowhere, Sami Zayn comes out to help his old friend Kevin Owens, and they're tag teaming Kofi. Xavier Woods comes out to try to help. They destroy Xavier. Kofi looks like he's going to get the worst of it, and then Kofi turns it all around, sends everybody away, does his finisher on Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens is at the top of the ramp, walking up the ramp, and they're going at it at the end. I thought this was a nice ending for Kofi to not end up being beaten up, but does this scare you for the title?
Yes, it does. It very much does. Because I can see that Sami Zayn probably be the only one doesn't win Money in the Bank.
Yeah. And
if Kevin Owens wins, it's either going to be because of Xavier Woods or Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
It will not be straight up. And that worries me. Like, I understand you say, there's this saying of you'll make the champ still look strong if he has to be double teamed one way or another.
Right.
But there's this whole no automatic rematch thing. And so I'm concerned that you have Sami Zayn be the reason, unless Sami Zayn does something, he tries to go for the haluva kick, kicks Owens, Kofi turns around, hits him with Trouble in Paradise, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Then maybe if you're going to do the Xavier Woods thing, have him jump him afterwards. just don't have it be the reason he cost the title. I don't want the New Day to split up at all. Believe me, that is the best thing they've got going for the past 5 years.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Their merchandise is through the roof. Everything they do is amazing, and especially as a trio. And I understand Big E's out for a minute with any injury, and it's going to seem like you're going to have to do something. But the problem becomes if you put Kofi versus Xavier, and I know I'm jumping the gun going further ahead, you lose a powerful face on that show.
Yep. Don't disagree with you there.
No matter what, you're going to lose something. And so it does work. Again, I'm still going to be worried regardless. I'm even more worried now with Kofi holding on to the title. I would love for him to continue to have at least a decent reign. And do not pull that, well, he defended it against AJ and he defended it against Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
That's the thing that scares me because he's already had 2 title defenses.
Yeah, they can take it off him. They think they can take it off because all those rumors that are going around that they think it's because they have a black champion and they're focused on the women's side of things that the ratings are down. Well, and they could use this as an excuse, which I really don't want them to do.
And here's the problem with that excuse.
Yeah.
The reason a lot of people bought into WrestleMania was for the potential of Kofi Kingston becoming WWE champion and Becky Lynch becoming Becky Two Belts.
Yep.
These were the 2 reasons the buy rates were super duper high. On top of the Iconics in Australia, because Australia's going to support the team. But to say, they're the reason ratings are low. Have we not looked at the product as a whole?
Yeah, agree. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Exactly. It's the product as a whole. It's not them. It's not the women. And it's certainly not Kofi Kingston. All right, well, that's our SmackDown live recap for that. We got a couple more things we want to talk about here on the show. And that's the big news that broke this morning about AEW on Variety. All Elite Wrestling has signed a deal with TNT. We're getting this, as I said, from Variety. They're going to air a weekly wrestling show on TNT beginning later this year. It's the first time professional wrestling has aired on TNT since the days of WCW, which, if you remember and you're old enough, was bought out in 2001. My God, has it been 18 years since that night?
Yes,
I remember watching that live.
I am now the owner of WCW.
Invasion. So we have here the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody and Brandy Rhodes, Hangman, Adam Page, all involved in the situation. Obviously, Chris Jericho as well. And remember, they signed Jim Ross to that deal to be an announcer. So there's a lot that goes on here. Cody Rhodes delivered this statement to Variety. Said the term people are using is alternative. For many years throughout my youth and plenty of other fans' youths, pro wrestling has been essentially just one company, and that's not really the case. I want to be the sports-centric alternative in the pro wrestling world, and I think we're on a good path to get there. So we will see. They've got a pay-per-view coming out, Double or Nothing, later on this month. I don't know if Jen Sturger has anything, or Jen Decker has anything to do with that, but I hope she does.
She will be covering StarCast, and she will also be at the roast of Ric Flair. She'll be roasting the Nature Boy.
She's also in Houston this weekend.
At the Schmodown. So make sure y'all check out my sister and support her. I love her to death.
Definitely.
You know, I always gonna have love for her. But this is big.
Yeah, talk to me about this. What's your reaction to
this? This is big for AEW. This is major. First of all, you've got the son of the Jaguars owner behind it,
right?
Which means you've got an immense budget working. Your production is gonna shoot up through the roof. And now you have the television network.
Right.
A network that has had wrestling before. So it's nothing new.
Right.
And you've got some great talent that, as you said, Cody said, is an alternative.
And hopefully you have executives at TNT now who understand the product. That was the problem before when they had WCW and Turner Broadcasting, that they only saw it as let's get all the big stars to make the money rather than build it up from the ground up.
And that was the problem. Yeah,
and they messed it all up.
Every time somebody got fired from WWE, WWF at the time, hurry up and sign them, whatever the contract needs, bring in the ratings. Which don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with bringing over some big stars.
Of course.
But don't put the whole...
That shouldn't be your foundation.
That shouldn't be your foundation for your company.
Right.
You have a great foundation. These are the names I'm going to tell you who the foundation of AEW are. Kenny Omega.
Yep.
The Bucks, whether you like them or not. Hangman Adam Page, SoCal Uncensored, because it's about damn time Christopher Daniels, who's one of my trainers, gets the recognition he deserves. It's about time the Fallen Angel gets that. Then you have Jericho there. You have Cody, who is busting his behind since he left.
Cody and Brandy.
Yep. You'll bring in Nick Aldis eventually. We'll see what the NWA relation. I know it's kind of strained, but we'll see what will happen.
Yeah.
You have this good talent. You have a solid women's roster coming up, which I am so glad that all of these companies now have been focusing on their women's roster when they should have been doing it for the longest instead of focusing on divas and just, the glory, the pretty girls. Like that's why TNA invented the knockouts.
Yep, right.
These were women who can work. And so now you have the WWE doing it. You have AEW doing it. But now you have AEW with a different product that is an alternative to seeing what we see every week. And you have people working on the production side, Billy Gunn, who know what is needed.
Yeah.
Who know what is needed. And yeah, a lot of people are going to bring up the words competition. It is, but it isn't.
Right.
It is, but it isn't. The thing is, until those numbers and those ratings come in, then Vince may worry. Until then, he's not directly worried. He's upset you got a few people.
He's a little worried because he's banning those AEW shirts from being in his arena. He's like, he took someone off recently. I think it was Angle or Undertaker.
Off Starrcade.
Because of the AEW connection. Another wrestler took both of them off that situation. So I think you're right. And even what's-his-face, Jim Ross said this too. He goes, in this statement, he gave a statement as well. He said, we're not thinking about the WWE. We're not thinking about competing for the WWE yet. We have to establish our own brand. We should compete with ourselves to make sure we've got the best product. Then maybe down the road, we can start talking about competing with the WWE. And I think that's the right attitude to have.
And also, Bleacher Report is going to stream live for them, their digital content.
That's great.
So Double or Nothing that happens on the 25th will be streamed through Bleacher Report. And they have ITV, which is the biggest thing over in the UK, to stream that. So they're doing everything right. I'm just excited to see what they bring. I know the talent. I just want the production value to match this now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're right. What you said at the beginning of your comments, Jay, I think you're right. I think having this son of a billionaire, this Khan guy behind this money, who his father has been involved in a pro sports situation in the NFL, owning the Jaguars, understands the ins and outs of that situation. And people will want to come and give of their time and give of their expertise to help AEW because there's a lot of disenfranchised WWE fans. There's a lot of WWE fans who want something new. But my concern here is, AEW is essentially the NXT vibe, is essentially an independent wrestling vibe.
I wanted to say NXT.
That has, but I mean
more Ring of Honor, more so Ring of Honor.
Okay, fine, Ring of Honor, but still not mainstream, independent type stuff. A lot of people outside of that bubble don't know the AEW wrestlers that well. Yes, they know Jericho. Yes, they know Jim Ross. Yes, they know a couple of other names, but they don't know them all that well. So I think that's the mountain they're going to have to climb, is to get into the mainstream conversation with their stars. And that's going to take a lot of creative work, a lot of good, smart storylines, and great matches.
I have an instant rebuttal for that statement.
Okay.
TNA.
Yeah.
TNA, because remember, the world at large didn't know who AJ Styles was.
Right.
The world at large didn't know who Samoa Joe was, who didn't know a bunch of this talent that we now embrace as superstars, global stars.
We do now, but on TNA, the ratings weren't that great for them. That's my concern.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The ratings were concerned, but guess what? They came up.
Oh, sure.
And they ended up falling into that WCW trap of getting all the old WWE guys.
When they brought over Hogan.
All that.
Big mistake.
I mean, when they did they fell into that trap. But at the same time, now you've had the WWE that showed you what you should do, shouldn't do on a big level.
Right.
You've had TNA Impact that says, all right, they're going to try to mirror this, but they're going to make some of the same mistakes that WCW might have made. I'm sorry, I got to insert WCW in between. Now you have AEW who has seen this. You have a Dustin Rhodes who has been in all of these.
Yes.
Who's been in all of these, so he knows how the inner workings go all the way around.
Right.
You have Billy Gunn, who was not only working in the back as a producer and an agent as WWE, he is now one of your top producers for AEW.
Yeah, and so many wrestlers credit Billy with helping them come from the developmental era and getting into the roster.
And so you have that. So you have this talent. The fan base for these talents are already there. Now it's putting them on a wider spectrum, on a wider reach audience. Kenny Omega alone is one of the biggest stars that everybody was wondering, was he going to the WWE?
Yeah.
That made international headlines for Kenny Omega, somebody who people say, well, people don't really know him, but they do.
Right.
You have the Bucks who have made a name for themselves.
Yep.
Hangman Adam Page has carved a niche for himself. You bring in Pac, formerly known as Neville.
Yeah.
You bring these guys in. SoCal Uncensored has talent in it, like Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky, who deserves all of this. Just as much as Danny and Frankie do, Sky deserves all this. These guys will bust their behinds. And you have this incredible women's roster. I don't think we got to worry so much about them falling the wayside the way the TNA did. Or yes, there's a mountain to climb, but they're climbing their own mountain.
And that's all I'm saying, is there is a mountain to climb. I'm in the camp cheering them on. And I want to see what happens because competition breeds the best. I still contend that the best 2 to 3 years of wrestling in the 90s
was the Monday Night Wars.
Was the Monday Night Wars. You got I spent 5 hours a night watching wrestling on Monday nights. I would videotape one program and watch another live. And then right after that live one was done, I'd watch the program that I'd videotape. It would depend on who was starring, how I did that, but that's how I spent my Monday nights all through my 20s or all through that time in my 20s watching it, and it was a blast. So having AEW come up, because I never felt that TNA or Ring of Honor or any of these other things were really competing with WWE. This is the first one since WCW went defunct that I think has the possibility to compete, has the money, the possible production value, and the possible star, and could lure stars like the Revival, like Sasha Banks, like other people who already established themselves.
But see, now
these are prime. I'm not talking about Savage and Hogan.
But you're still going. But now you're going to basing off building AEW off of former WWE talent.
I'm saying they're part. They can be part of it. And Jericho's former WWE talent.
But Jericho is Ross. But it's just one.
That's what I'm saying. But you bring some of them over, not all of them, obviously.
Yeah, but you don't need. That's what I'm saying. You don't bring the Revival.
You need to fill out the roster.
The roster is filled out. That's what I'm saying. You don't bring this.
You only mentioned 8 wrestlers. There's no way it's filled out.
No, it's more than 8. These are the 8 that are at the forefront of their.
That's fine.
These are the ones at the forefront, which those are the ones you focus on.
But you want mainstream attention. You're not going to get mainstream attention bringing up some guy named Scorpio Sky that most people don't fucking know about. You got to bring over a combo. I'm saying a combo. I get, but John, not a foundation.
John, you're talking about bringing over people who have their names in WWE, right? I get that. Yeah. And now, let the WWE audience come on their own. Let AEW build. Yeah, later, let's say Sasha gets out of her contract. Let's say Sasha gets out of her contract. You decide you want to bring Sasha Banks over to AEW.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks is not going to take a mid-level spot in AEW when she should, because this is about the other women that are in AEW. Let that women's roster build that up, then you bring in Sasha Banks.
I don't know what Sasha's going to do.
9 times out of 10, a Sasha Banks is going to want to be, she's not going to take a mid-level spot for a while. Like, she's not going to be like, look, you're a mid-carder meant to bring people up. She's not going to take that.
You don't think Leo Rush goes over?
I think Leo Rush will go over.
Okay.
I think for sure Leo, that's a whole different ball game though.
Right.
That's a whole different
ball. You think
ball.
Sasha goes over?
Right. If she possibly may want to, if she believes she'll have a better way of doing what she wants to do than what she has in the WWE, she'll try to push her hand at that.
Right.
But you got to make Sasha understand it's not about you right now.
Right.
It's not about you.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I'm bringing up. Yeah, you can get Leo Rush is a different ballgame because they never use Leo Rush anyway. Leo Rush has been used as a mouthpiece, and on 205 Live, Leo Rush will flourish being Leo Rush over there.
What about the Revival?
The Revival is a great tag team. It would be nice to have them. And yeah, we need to build that division, but let's see what else we have first.
Yeah, but I think it has to be a combo, and they're all.
It's gonna be, but that's not. It will be.
Right.
I'm not saying that's not the issue. Let it happen later.
No, I can't. We have 2 different opinions on this, and let it be that we are, because I think you have to have the combo of some of their in their prime wrestlers who have the attention of in WWE's. That's how you bring eyes to AEW and keep those eyes, hopefully, with the other talent you have on the roster as well. That's my thing. Is you bring them over.
Saying,
I don't want Savage. I don't want Hogan. Those were all past their prime.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not
which
talking
is
about
why WWE let them go.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about bring over a Randy
But when you
Orton.
brought over Nash and Hall, WCW blew the fuck up.
Because at the time, yes,
they were in their prime.
They were. But I'm not talking about right now, hypothetically speaking, he'll never leave. Grab a fucking Randy Orton. No.
He's past his prime too.
Don't grab an Orton. You let this build. Give them 6 months to a year. Give them 6 months to a year. They have to do, because if they don't do it in 6 months to a year on their own, if you're instantly going to rely on talent like that, then you're saying you don't trust the talent that you have in your damn locker room.
I don't think so. I think you're saying you need a good combo of both from the beginning.
The Khans would not have invested in this project. They wouldn't have invested this money behind this. TNT would not be behind this if they did not understand and see what they have already.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it goes out. We'll see how it plays out. And certainly there'll be announcements, I'm sure, of more wrestlers signing up with AEW as we get closer in the fall. But certainly you can see the passion on both of us. Yes. We're excited to see what it's going to be.
No matter where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's run down real quick since this is a WWE recap show. Let's quickly give our predictions for the Money in the Bank matches and what we think is going to happen this Sunday, because this week obviously was the send-off shows from Raw and SmackDown for the Money in the Bank this weekend on Sunday night. I don't know why you scheduled against Game of Thrones finale, but good luck to you. We'll start off with the Women's Tag Team Championship. They are fighting that there's a possibility here that the Iconics will take on Asuka and Kairi Sane. There's rumors.
There's rumors.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it does go, it'll go to the kickoff show. And I don't think they'll give it to Asuka and Kairi Sane just yet.
Not just yet.
Because they first of all, they just got the name, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
And I think you give it to the
Which we don't like.
We don't like. But I think you let the Iconics keep it.
Okay.
Because this way it'll build up that feud.
Okay.
And then you can start building it up. Then you can build the Kairi Sane and Asuka. Because of course they will get it. Mm-hmm. It's inevitable they will get it, but you build up a feud.
Okay.
You don't want just a one-time, boom, we got it, it's done.
Right.
You build this up.
I got Asuka and Kairi Sane because I think they're done dealing with the Iconics. Let's move on. Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese versus Araya Daivari. What do you think of this?
Araya Daivari, baby. Brother Sean Daivari. Listen, I am still going to go with Tony Nese.
Okay.
Tony Nese has been
He just won it.
He just won it in May. Again, that's my hard time trying to see these titles change hands, except for one, is they just won it in Mania. And 205 Live, the Cruiserweight title doesn't get a chance to really be defended.
Fair enough. All right, Daniel Bryan and Rowan are taking on the Usos in the kickoff show for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Oh, it actually is the title.
Yeah, it is the title.
Okay, so that means Daniel Bryan and Rowan are still keeping those titles, and they're going to keep throwing the Usos back and forth as wild cards.
Okay, I like this idea. I think I agree with you completely. Samoa Joe takes on Rey Mysterio in the United States Championship.
Samoa Joe retains with the help of Dominic.
Yes, I agree with Jay. We said this yesterday. Thoroughly agree with Jay. Miz and Shane McMahon is steel cage match. Who takes this one?
I want to say the Miz, but I kind of believe it's going to be the Miz. Why? Because it's 1-1. It'll be the Miz.
Okay.
Because it has to keep going to feud.
Oh, right, because he won with his dad stuff.
Yeah.
Does Mrs. Dad show up? Was it over under Mrs. Dad show up?
Under none.
Yeah, does Mrs. Dad run into the ring and hold Shane's leg from crawling over the cage? I wonder.
No, because I don't need to see that deer in the headlights look again.
Broken rib?
Ever.
I think I have Shane winning or Miz winning as well. All right, women's Money in the Bank ladder match here. We got Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Natalya, Dana Brooke, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella. Carmella. This is tough. Who do you got?
I'm trying to think who would be the best competition for Becky. Bayley.
You got Bayley winning this thing.
Bayley would be the only. When you say it out loud, and I think about it, if it's Becky Lynch. If it's Becky Lynch still holding both belts, then I give it Bayley.
Okay.
As much as I want Ember Moon to hold it, I would love to see that and just to hear her yell, just.
I think they're going to default to give it to Alexa. I think that's what they're going to do.
You think they're going to go like that easy?
Again. I think they totally will. And I think she'll try to cash it in and lose. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Finn Balor, Ali, Andrade, Sami Zayn now, and Randy Orton.
I have to pick one, all right?
Yeah.
The WWE champion is a face. If it turns around be heel, what would be the best program? The Universal champion is a face. Turn around would be the best program. Don't be surprised if Drew McIntyre takes it.
Okay. I have Randy Orton winning this thing.
Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston?
Yeah.
If Kofi
retains, which I think he will. But we'll get to in just a second. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair.
Becky Lynch.
Woo! Yeah, you're of the thing. I think Charlotte's going to win it, but I could see it going that way. Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans.
For sure, Becky Lynch.
Yeah?
But Lacey puts up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, to lay the groundwork.
It's not going to be one of those easy 1, 2, 3s, but it is. Becky Lynch versus Lacey is the first match. Lacey's going to beat the hell out of it, and all of a sudden, you notice she's never tapped to the disarmer in any promos. Yeah. She'll finally tap to the disarmer.
Okay, all right. I got Becky Lynch winning that one as well. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens.
Dear sweet precious black baby Jesus born in an IKEA manger, please keep it on Kofi Kingston.
I think Kofi does retain as well, but I think I think this program isn't over.
I don't think this program is over,
I think
but
keep going. Yeah, we'll see who interferes. We'll see if who interferes. If Sammy interferes, we'll see if Xavier Woods interferes, or if Big E comes back.
If he comes hobbling down with some crutches, come on,
like Willis Reed or something, or Paul Pierce for you younger kids. All right, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. Who you got on this one?
somebody who they need to figure out what name you're going to call him. Seth Rollins. Because I'm tired of being the King Slayer, Beast Slayer. Look, the Beast gone. Can we just... Because what's going to happen? He's going to be the phenomenal Slayer. Like, y'all going to make too many shirts that ain't nobody going to want.
No, yeah, you can't make a shirt for one program. That's weird to me. Seth, I think Seth takes this one as well, because I think AJ's in that spot now where he's putting other people over for a little bit. Maybe they'll swing back around and give him the title for another run.
Yeah, he'll get it.
It's not time yet.
Let Seth Rollins roll with this.
Yeah.
Because, again, potentially this wild card rule.
Oh, yeah.
When you finally get Roman to get it back. Roman gets the title he never lost.
Right. Good point. We'll see how that goes down. All right, that's our SmackDown Live recap for this lovely Wednesday morning. I want to thank you all for joining us, and especially Jay Washington for stopping by.
Thank you, brother.
Where can they find you, brother?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should really know how to spell Washington. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY Washington 80. The Mad Titan Podcast, where I get you caught up on everything happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It is barbershop talk for nerds. Come on in the convo. It is everywhere you get your podcast on. Enjoy my Supervillain Squad on Patreon and the Wrestling Compadre Slamcast.
There you go. All right, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, I've got a new show, a new podcast here on Collider called The Deep Cut. Tomorrow, we're dropping a new episode. Emma Fife stopped by. She's a Game of Thrones enthusiast. We debated this decision, no spoilers, that Danny made in this previous episode. We see if the writers and the showrunners did a good job of laying the groundwork for it. And also, we debate the actual decision, whether it means she's crazy or not. We'll have that. So enjoy that discussion. It's a fun discussion with the great Emma Fife. And you can also follow everything Pro Wrestling Sheet does at Wrestling Sheet there on Twitter. And of course, they've got a YouTube channel and on Reddit as well. So give it a love. And there's a show tomorrow night, the Wrestling Sheet radio show tomorrow night. Enjoy that as well. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy Money in the Bank.
ProWrestlingSheet.com